What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Hyperspace Hive. Our crew returns again. Once as always, joining us is Carson.
What's going on, guys? Excited to be back. We're a week away from the Rise of Skywalker. Basically, by the time this episode comes out, I never thought I'd be saying that. It feels like we were just watching the first trailer at Celebration. I'm super excited to break down this week's topics. We've got a lot of Star Wars per usual. So yeah, let's do this.
Awesome. Also joining us is Evan.
Hello, you guys. It's been a very fun week, the past couple of weeks in the Star Wars world. Last week we had all the press conferences, a lot of the press interviews and stuff. It's very fun. And yeah, I'm very excited to talk about Star Wars this week. We got some hot takes in the future, so let's get started.
Awesome. Also, we got Brandon joining us once again.
Hey everyone, it's good to be back. It's funny, we're all flying through hyperspace, avoiding all the planets that have spoilers.
We are indeed.
We are indeed, but it's good to be back.
It's so
Glad
scary.
to talk about all the topics we're going to be talking about, and with that being said, I'm going to throw it back to Nathan.
All right, so I've been informed we have some takes regarding Episode 5 of The Mandalorian, The Gunslinger. I know. I'm excited to hear your guys' points and to defend it. So I'm going to toss to Carson. What you got for it? You got for us?
Well, this episode is probably the first time in this show where I was like, I don't know about this. It was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but I think my main gripes with this episode, it's kind of just getting to the point, it was episode 5, and there's 8 episodes this season, and I'm not going to use the term filler. I'm not going to, because it's not filler. There's still character moments and a lot of stuff to be said about how the Mandalorian is actually developing. But I think we just kind of hit kind of a repetitive point in the writing and kind of the actions the Mandalorian has to take. Specifically, it's like, oh, he's going to go help this person. Not really out of his will, and then he's gonna like learn something about it, and it's just kind of I don't know. And there's been a lot of talk on Twitter this week about how since we are back on Tatooine and all this stuff, it's kind of a nostalgia trip. I think the episode actually handled its return to kind of familiarity really well. I feel like, especially like the cantina stuff, like nothing overstayed its welcome in terms of like Star Wars nostalgia. I think it actually handled Tatooine really well. I think there's some acting issues this episode. I wasn't a fan of the amateur bounty hunter. I don't know his name. If anyone knows the character name, feel free to chime in. But I thought he was a little on the nose, and then also I actually grew to like the mechanic, but I think there was some dialogue issues with her, and so those are kind of my main issues. I'll let you guys kind of discuss what you think of that, because I know most of us think differently. I know Evan might think some of the same things.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of what Carson said. So starting off, I kind of agree with Carson. I did not like this episode. I ended the episode, and I looked at my brother, and I was left wondering, was this a good episode? Like, we kind of agreed, like, this was the weakest out of the what we've gotten so far. And just from the jump, the tone felt immediately off. Like, the whole chase sequence at the beginning was fun. I always like it when Star Wars leaves us in the middle of the action sequence. But then, like, when he kills the bounty hunter, just the death seemed a little bit goofy to me. I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird.
Especially the line where he's like, oh, that's my line. Yes, exactly. I don't know. It just
that's my line. The guy's like, oh, I got you. I can bring you in hot or cold. I'm like, oh, really? Are we doing this?
I liked that. I liked the little, like, because that's something that would be said in, like, an old Western right before he's about to kill, like, an enemy. It's like, that's my line. Bang.
In a comedy Western, sure.
But it's like, it's so self-referential. It's like, oh, like, it's almost like, oh, I knew that I said that 2 episodes ago. Like, I don't know. It just felt a little off to me.
I felt the 80s action cheese.
Yeah, exactly. It was like very cheesy. And that's fine, but from the last couple episodes, it's kind of off with terms of the tone that's been consistent over the past 4 episodes thus far. And I think I gotta bring it up. The main thing I hate about this episode is the way they handled Ming-Na Wen's character. In my notes I have it like they completely wasted her character.
I hope she's back.
Because it's two things.
She got
it's two
shot
things
and
though.
died.
Okay, there's two things. So number one, either she's dead, which then you completely wasted the character, because all she did was a cool fight sequence, and then she's dead in order to continue the arc of the guy we really don't care about. Like, he has bad acting and everything. Or she's alive, but people aren't really caring if she's alive because the show decided to trick the audience to see, like, oh, who's that saving her? Is it Boba Fett? So now people are caring more about the cameo character at the end and wondering if he's Boba Fett or not, rather than their interest in Fennec Shan, her character, and her possible journey. I like to think that she's alive because the actress Ming-Na Wen like quoted some article saying like Fennec Shan's journey in The Mandalorian. I'm like, if she's dead, she has no journey. But if she's alive, then hopefully we can get something down the line from her. Either way, I'm just like, I didn't really like what they did with her character because it felt off. Because in the last episode, we had Cara Dune, who's a fantastic character, but then at the end of the episode, she goes away, and maybe we'll see her later in the season. But then we get Fennec Shan, who's also an amazing character, but then she gets shot, and now she's away too. So I'm just like, they're introducing these awesome characters, but then Mandalorian just hops into the next episode. And like Carson was saying, we kind of lost track of the main story here. Like, I liked it in episode 4 because we really got an emotional journey with the Mandalorian, but in this one, we didn't really get a good emotional arc for the Mandalorian or arc for any character in general. It was kind of like a pit stop. Now, it wasn't a filler because of the very last scene, the little kind of like the post-credit scene of the show. So it wasn't really a filler in that sense, but it didn't really move the story forward at all besides like a fuel stop. So yeah, in general, I just didn't really like the episode at all.
And that's why I found it like repetitive almost. It's like, okay, you have a lot to learn if you're going to take care of Baby Yoda. Like, okay, we've been saying that the past 3 weeks. Like, I'm sorry. Like, like we know the stakes of the threat, especially episode 4 did a great job of, you know, there anywhere that you go is not going to be safe. And that's why it was kind of cool to go back to Tatooine and to know that, you know, even there was going to be some sort of threat from something. I mean, it loops around to be that the bounty hunter at the end coming back. But honestly, like, I didn't feel Baby Yoda was in danger really, because like you knew it. This episode kind of just like made me feel like that, like Evan is saying, is like it kind of gets timid. It's like a timid episode where it introduces these new things and then it kind of falls back on its heels. And not necessarily that's a bad thing, because, you know, it kind of, there's got to be some consistency to you know, the characters and the plot. But I feel like as far as not necessarily risk, but kind of moving forward, this wasn't an episode that succeeded in that way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been saying this to some coworkers of mine, and I'm like, The Mandalorian, besides the ending of episode 1, it's been pretty predictable. Like, in the sense that I'm not really being surprised about the events at the end of each episode. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't have to be an unpredictable show to be good. I've been loving the past couple of Mandalorian episodes. I just think, especially in this episode, it's very predictable. We know Baby Yoda's not in danger. We know Mandalorian's not in danger. So everything at the end of the episode just felt kind of okay. Like, it felt meh. And like Carson was saying, this was a fun episode. I really liked... one of the main set pieces I liked was them like having to wait till nighttime to take out Fennec Shan and that whole light sequence, and that was cool and that was awesome. But it was just an action sequence in a 35-minute episode, so yeah, it just left me feeling really meh in the end. I'm excited for next week's episode. Maybe whoever is tracking down the Mandalorian, or whoever is there next to Fennec Shan's body, maybe he's an interesting character. I hope so. I don't think it's Boba Fett, but
I hope it's Giancarlo's character.
I don't think it is. 'Cause he seems like the kind of guy who lets other people do his business. It could be, like you guys mentioned, that one comedian, I forget his name, Ben Burr, something like that. Bill Burr. Yeah.
Oh, Bill Burr.
It could be him.
That might.
Because remember, she said she had a rendezvous with somebody, so maybe the person she was having a rendezvous with was like, oh, something must have happened, and then go to check up on her body, and they realize she's dead, or maybe she's just close to being alive. So maybe that could be it. But
yeah.
I totally forgot Bill Burr had a character in the show. But also, I'd like to say the one guy you're talking about, like the hot shot guy, his name is Toro Calican.
Oh, cool. Yeah. He sucked. He was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Thank you for remembering, because I had no clue what his character name was.
I'm like, we get all these high caliber cast members. Like, not I mean, I feel great on this actor for getting this opportunity, but like, man, I don't know if it was Favreau's writing or
that's the
just
thing
did
though.
not land for
this
me.
was Filoni's the only episode where Filoni wrote and directed it, and that was one of the hot takes I mentioned earlier. I'm like, let's be honest here. Filoni's episodes were kind of, in terms of my opinion, they're the weakest of the season. Filoni did the first episode, and then he did this episode. And I think episodes 1 and 5 are definitely the weakest episodes of the season. Now, I'm not saying Filoni's a bad live-action director, but I just think in comparison to what we've gotten so far from Deborah Chow or Bryce Dallas Howard or especially Rick Famuyiwa, you can just tell a difference in the tone, in the direction of the episode, because there wasn't really a unique style or sequence in this episode at all. So I still have faith in Filoni. Maybe he's a beginning live action director, so these kind of things happen. But I don't think he's going to be directing a live action movie anytime soon, given what we've seen from The Mandalorian so far.
Alrighty, well, I suppose I'll say something now.
Pass it on to the two guys who enjoyed the episode.
Positivity train, here we come.
Yeah, I got a couple points. Number one, how dare you? No, I can understand your points for sure. I will say this felt like a less impactful version of episode 2 because, there's like a main objective, only this objective really doesn't get resolved much. It doesn't, and it didn't lead to any big discovery like the Force or anything. So I get it for that point. It definitely is the weakest episode so far. Still think it's fun. If I'm going to defend anything, I actually will defend the dude you guys are ragging on.
No.
For the point of just like the way he's acting, I think that fit this dude's character perfectly. Like, he's definitely like this try-hard dude who really wants to like prove himself to be in the guild and stuff, but like obviously he's not cut out for this type of work. But he's still trying. So like with the way he was acting, his mannerisms stuff, I accepted. I thought it worked pretty well. But in terms of Ming-Na's character, I don't think you kill her like that fast. That would be a big waste. I agree. And I think that final shot, having someone walk up to her, reiterates that she'll be back for sure. Otherwise, there's not too much for me to really add on to. I mean, all the referential stuff was cool. Like the mirroring of the original first shot in New Hope was really cool. That's probably like my favorite callback I saw.
Yeah. Also, there's a shot where Mando's flying over Tatooine to land a ship, and he flies past the canyon that Ben Kenobi, Luke, C-3PO, and R2-D2 are on, looking over Mos Eisley.
Oh wow, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, revisiting the it was really cool revisiting the cantina. Funny that it's being run by droids now. And that dude was sitting in Han Solo's seat, which I instantly was looking for a blaster mark from Greedo. I thought it was really cool, all the visual stuff. I had just finished watching The Phantom Menace, so when I saw the pit droids, I kind of freaked out a bit. It was just cool to see like all the Tatooine stuff from like all the eras. And I enjoyed the mechanic character. I thought she was pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, it's not too much. There was funny moments. Like you said, the flashbang scene with the speeders was really cool. That's probably the most visually pleasing part of the whole thing. And I really like the effect of the speeders. Like, I still think the show's top notch, which is quality of visual effects. And the intro I thought was pretty fun. I thought it was that cheesy 80s action. Yeah, maybe it didn't fit too well with the rest of the show, but I thought it was still pretty fun. But yeah, I will agree with you guys. It is the weakest episode, and it doesn't really offer too much more to go off of. I mean, we could speculate as to who that guy is at the very end. I did instantly think Boba Fett because I was hearing the Spurs, but I was like, come on, do I really want that? But then at the same time, when I knew Filoni directed it and stuff, and I was thinking of like his built-up journey of Boba Fett in Clone Wars, I was like, well, you can't just leave me like that, Filoni. But I doubt it's Boba Fett at all. I'm sure maybe if they wanted to, Boba Fett could come in at some point, because and like also it gets me at the fact that they're on Tatooine, and like they could be near like the Sarlacc pit for all we know, amongst the dune sea and stuff. But I'm not really like putting all my chips on that. I think it could definitely be a Bill Burr's character. I don't think it's Giancarlo's character because just from like the clothing I was seeing, from the pants and the boots, it looked too worn down. I feel like the Imperial uniform he's gonna have is gonna be a lot more well kept. Just leave it off with that. I don't think there's really too much more to go off on with this episode. It was pretty short. Leave it off with that. I don't think there's really too much more to go off on with this episode. It was pretty short.
I will say something really cool that I saw. When Mando was speaking in sign language to the Tusken Raiders, one of the actors, cool. Let me pull up the official name of him. His official name, but one of the Tusken Raiders that he was communicating with, he was the Tusken Raider scout using sign language was played by deaf actor Troy Kotsur, who uses ASL in the Star Wars Mandalorian Chapter 5. I thought that was very awesome. They're branching out and including more like people with certain disabilities. I'm glad that they're able to include those types of people in these
100%,
projects, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And going in that thread that we were talking about before we hit record, that was one of the things is, you know, traditionally in Star Wars, the Sand people have been getting the bad rap, and to see somebody treat them differently was kind of a spin on something in Star Wars that we've kind of thought of for one way for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that was cool to see.
Also, another thing that I liked, the speeders that were in the show, we saw those at Celebration.
Oh yeah, I didn't know those were the same speeders.
Oh, that's right. Remember they had them covered up and then they unveiled them, I think, on the Friday.
They were just sitting there.
Yeah.
Were they? Maybe I'm thinking of.
That's a good catch. I didn't really remember that. Floor. I remember kind of Celebration. They were kind of keeping it a little bit secret at the beginning, but yeah, that was a cool shot, cool sequence. The effects weren't the best. I kind of could see a little bit of the iffy effects going on there, but overall it was a cool shot and a cool sequence.
No, it's perfect. I did like the effect of like when the dude gets up from the park speeder, it does like sway side to side in midair. But I think we'll leave it at that because we got this fun little trivial round of Rise of Skywalker we got. So awesome folks at Star Wars News that and the Resistance broadcast, wonderful people. Check out their much better podcast. They did a contest called the Prize of Skywalker, in which you answer this questionnaire of predictions for how the Rise of Skywalker is going to turn out, and whoever's the closest by the release of all the answers wins whatever the full prize pack is. So basically, we got all the questions here, and I thought it'd be fun if we all went around and gave our answers to what we think is going to happen, and I think it's going to be a fun one. So I'm going to kick it off right here. Will Rey kill Palpatine, yes or no? What do you guys think?
No. I think if anybody kills Palpatine, it's either going to be him dying to the whole Force Horcrux thing, or him dying at the hands of Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, like you said, with like the Horcrux thing. I think it's going to be a combined effort between Ben and Rey. I'm not sure what that looks like. It could be something kind of like a force fight, or again, we talked about this a couple episodes back. It's just like we don't know really what that physical manifestation, how much power level that this dude has at this point, and what he's actually able to inflict on them, and so it's like I feel like because he's been lurking for so long, I feel like he's probably gonna have a lot of power built up, and so I think it's gonna be a combination and have to be a tag team effort between Ben and Rey.
Well, okay, so after reading Lords of the Sith, I have so much more fear of Palpatine's character. So
he's like 17 steps ahead in that book.
my
It's
God,
insane.
Yeah, dude, he is like he knows what he's doing in this film. I think he knows exactly what's going to go on too.
But he has to die somehow, and it's such a tricky question because I'm with Carson and you guys. I think it's going to be a mixed effort between Ben and Rey. Like, I don't know if they're going to cut off his head at the same time. I hope it's not like a whole Force thing. Like, a lot of people want Anakin to come back and Anakin to be the one to finish him off because Anakin, like the whole Chosen One BS or whatever, which is possible.
BS.
But I really wanted, BS. Yeah, I wanted to be, I wanted to be Rey. Rey is the hero of the story, and Anakin can help her. You can come in and give him a little push or whatever. But I want this to be Rey and Ben's journey here. And even JJ said as much. Like, this is the story of this unlikely group of heroes defeating the greatest evil, which is Palpatine. So I will say yes, because I think Rey's going to have a participation in defeating Palpatine. So yes.
Yeah, I don't know what Palpatine's form is even going to be, but I did say no, and I think it's going to be Ben that does it to have the final, the latest in the generation of Skywalker take down the guy that, like, knocked that whole family's course of history into ruin. So
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, Ben's always killing, like, older people in these movies. He killed Lord Santeca, he killed Snoke, now he's killing Palpatine.
Rest in peace, Lord Santeca.
And Han Solo, too. He's just killing all the old guys here, so.
You cannot deny the truth. That is your family. By the way, that line's going to be so brilliantly recontextualized after this movie.
Oh, heck yeah.
And the trailer is also hitting the guy with the rock bottom.
Oh, yeah, that guy, too. Poor guy.
All right, so the next question we got here is, will Kylo Ren use Force Lightning? I say no.
No way. As much as JJ's been hyping up new Force powers, I don't think that's even in the playing cards based on the character and everything that we know. I would be very, very surprised.
Yeah, I don't think Kylo has it in him to use Force Lightning.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it's an automatic no. Just given what we know about Force Lightning, you have to be deep into the darkness or, like, uncontrollable darkness to use it. I think Kylo, he just won't be able to use it.
Yeah, he hasn't achieved level 6 Sith power.
Next question we got is, will we see a lightsaber ignited with a color other than blue or red? And I actually said yes to this.
White. I hope so. That'd be so
so.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure yes.
You say you
I
hope
want
so.
either.
Do you think it's likely? I'm not really sure. I'll say yes, because I think it could be one of the many surprises. I also want it to be white so Ben can purify his lightsaber.
Yes. Gosh, we need that moment so bad. I know it probably...
It probably won't happen, but I do think we are not going to just see Kylo using the red lightsaber. It's either going to be the Anakin lightsaber he could hold, like some kind of that kind of lightsaber, or another version of his lightsaber.
Yeah, now I don't know, because now I got my theory going. I was originally going to be like, what if we get a point where, like, we're in the progress of Bendemption and, like, Rey's about to get taken out by Palpatine, and then Ben comes in to save her, but you don't see that it's Ben yet, and you just see a saber ignite, and it's a white saber. So you're like, who's this? And then boom, it's Ben. But then I was also like, because I have this theory that the First Order is on base, or is taking base on, like, because we saw, like, that floating iceberg type deal. And I kind of believe that to be the remnants of Starkiller Base, which we apparently know to be Ilum at this point, where we get the Kyber crystals. Now I'm thinking, well, what if Ben just gets a whole new Kyber crystal and it's blue? I don't know.
Wow, that's a deep theory.
The thing with Ilum is, like, after it being confirmed it was Starkiller Base fully exploded, like, because it became nothing.
The sun.
It,
It's
like,
the sun.
It imploded. Like, I get it if
Yeah,
it was like Death Star
supernova.
remnants, but like, there was no debris from this. It's completely just like imploded from the inside out.
So can
That
it
you
be
know
like
of.
same system kind of deal?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm sure. Fuck, that was loud. I'm sure there's other sources. I gotta censor myself on the podcast. Dang it.
The kids.
Oh, the kids. I'm sure we got. I'm sure there's other sources of kyber crystals though. Excuse me. But yeah, it should be interesting. Moving on to the next question. Will Zori Bliss remove her helmet? I said yes because I remember seeing a promotional image of her visor off and seeing her eyes. So I feel like we'll see her. I feel like we're gonna see her face.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
roll.
and also that scene or that promotional image with her and Poe kind of sitting down somewhere. I can't remember what specifically it looked like. I would imagine since they're kind of old friends, supposedly, that maybe, you know, when stuff's going down, that she has to get serious with Poe and kind of tell him something, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
gonna remove her helmet.
I think so too. I think she'll remove her helmet. You can't like this. I don't want this to be a Gwendolyn Christie situation. I really want to see Carrie Russell's face. But Carrie Russell has always talked about how she enjoyed having the mask on all the time during set. So it did kind of give me the hint, like maybe she's gonna keep it on during the whole time. But no, I think during one like crucial emotional sequence, she'll take it off.
All right. Will anyone but Rey and Kylo Ren use a lightsaber? I say yes due to I believe 3PO is going to access memory files and we'll see some Jedi action.
Wow.
I'm gonna say yes because that one TV spot thumbnail of Leia holding the saber, like I don't think she's gonna ignite it, but she's holding it. So
Well, that's what the question
it
is
will
saying. It's like
ignite.
ignited.
Yeah.
We'll use it. Like yeah.
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Do you think it'll be Leia?
No.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, with her holding the lightsaber in that thumbnail shot, I think it's just like potential for other people using the saber.
Yeah, that's
Boss
a
might
tough
use-
question. I actually don't think so. I think it's gonna be Kylo and Rey only using. That's also hard because it could be any surprise character like Matt Smith. I hate saying that, but you never know.
Hey, unless
could use a
they
lightsaber.
unless they go on Endor and they get caught by the Ewoks again, and she's like, "Pow, can you reach my lightsaber?"
I can imagine a quick fun scene of Poe using it real quick for some reason.
It could be like incidental, like, you know, Empire, like Han using it, like something
Yeah.
quick. Maybe Finn picks it up, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Maz will give it a test after she fixes it because she's totally gonna do that. My theory will be confirmed.
I like that theory.
Hell yeah. All right. Will the big three, Luke, Leia, and Han, appear on screen together? I said no.
No.
Together.
I would like it
no.
to happen, but no.
Unless it's that flashback scene.
Yeah, like together.
That-
no,
that would
unless it's
count.
The flashback scene that I was talking about.
That counts if you
at
think.
the same time, I think together, no. I think there's potential for Luke and Han being together, but with Carrie passed on, there's only so many scenes you can do with her, you know, with the limited amount of footage.
Yeah.
I'm going with yes. I think this
Oh.
actually possible. I think, like Brandon
This
said,
is what
that
we wanted,
flashback
Disney.
sequence.
Ugh.
Oh no. But I think it's
See what
possible.
you've
I
done.
think in The Force Awakens, I mean, I guess back in 2016, I just remember hearing this rumor about a deleted scene where there was like Carrie and Harrison, a shot of them like Han and Leia giving Ben over to Luke, so they could like repurpose that and just have them a shot of them together. I think it's kind of possible. I feel like JJ really wants that to happen, so I think it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, you can crop people into any scene with anybody, so anything's possible. All right, next question. Will Matt Smith be in the movie and listed in the credits? I think yes. You won't tell it's him, but I will say yes.
Oh.
I think yes, because we've already gotten that set photo of the blue guy turned around with the eyes, and you could see that Matt Smith eyes and his Doctor Who.
Still can't confirm if it's him, but
I would love if it was like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt cameo, or like, oh, there goes the shuttle Parkers, like something where you just don't even know.
They just ran off into the casino.
Nope, that's Shuttle Parkers.
That's my favorite thing.
I would love it if Matt Smith is the guy that Kylo just tackles in the trailer.
Oh my god.
But
I told them you can't park that shuttle here.
in all seriousness, I do think he'll have a surprise role to play. I don't think JJ really wanted that to get leaked by whoever it was, Variety, I think. So I do think he's going to be in the movie. I don't think he'll have a big role, but I do think so.
All right. Next question. Brandon, go away. Will Kylo Ren / Ben Solo die? No.
Yes.
No.
I
100%.
refuse.
No. Okay. 97% no. 3%
100?
self-sacrifice.
Okay, there's a difference between being redeemed and dying, or being
Of course.
redeemed and living.
True.
Will he be redeemed? Yes. Will he die? Probably yes.
I say absolutely not. It's funny because I have this same bet going on at work too with multiple people. But I think he's definitely going to stay alive. This guy is a young antagonist. Some may say anti-hero. He did kill Snoke. So I just think there's a lot of story potential in the future if they ever wanted to. I know this is the end, but you never know. Yeah, he's the last Skywalker. Doesn't mean he has to die. I hate when people say like, "Oh, he's the last Skywalker. They're ending the Skywalker saga, so he has to die." I don't think that's the case at all.
Yeah, and it's such a dumb point because I think Skywalker itself is going to have such a different meaning after this movie. You know, we've been speculating since Celebration about, you know, you hear Luke's voiceover in this trailer, and you just kind of like start thinking about the Skywalker legacy, and you know, and you think about all the events in The Last Jedi, and kind of like you know, coming to terms with everything Force-wise in that movie, and how it kind of made us question, you know, not only like bloodlines, but kind of the power interpretations of the Force that have been so prominent. And I just think that it's just gonna kind of be different, that like there's gonna be so much potential for the name after the trilogy.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the main evil in this trilogy, especially this movie, is Palpatine. He's the one who has to die because he's the ultimate evil, not Kylo Ren. So I think he's 100% going to live.
Yeah, and I do believe that 100% they're going the full redemption arc, and I think if you want to successfully pull it off again, but also not 100% copy the Vader redemption, don't let him die. Keep him alive. Yeah.
And it's like, if you were to die, it would not be copying Vader whatsoever, because one, the circumstances and context are different, and two, Vader's arc in the original trilogy was nothing like we weren't under the mask. We weren't you know, getting the push and pull. We weren't getting these flashbacks kind of you know, showing Luke's betrayal and all these things. There wasn't that through line with Vader in the original trilogy, so it's already much different stakes.
Absolutely.
Totally. Like, there wasn't tons of magazines saying, "Oh, is Vader going to get redeemed and return
Right.
to the Jedi?" Like, nobody was wondering that. People have been asking that since like The Force Awakens.
Hook up.
So I think it's
Well, yeah, it's like Luke.
oh no.
Most people back then were just like, was Vader lying? Is he really the father? Like,
The simple
That
times.
Simpson scene. Oh wow!
Yeah.
What an ending! Who would have thought Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father?
Hey!
gosh, I would die. I would implode. All right, well, next question. Will Hayden Christensen appear in the film? I say yes, due to his prominent appearance lately around Star Wars media.
Si, senor.
I say
Wow.
if he does, it is going to be ever so brief. I don't think there's going to be this big scene that everybody seems to be thinking there's going to be. I mean,
Could be flat.
I'm
Could be.
I'm wanting this bridge between all the trilogies as much as everybody else, but I don't think. I think a huge Anakin scene would kind of take the weight off of Ben and Rey in it. It could potentially. I mean, I think there's a way to do it. I just don't. Again, I don't know what it looks like and how you would walk that fine line.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Do I think he's going to be in the movie? Yes. Is it going to be very, very minimal? Also, yes. I don't think he's a necessity to be in this movie. If he's not in this movie, I wouldn't complain in the slightest. But I think in terms of connecting all 9 movies, then JJ's going to have to put him in the movie.
Well, all right. Will Leia appear as a Force ghost? No, I think she's going to live.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tricky because it's like I don't. It's like, would you guys be fine with her going out like in the second act of the movie and then like showing up like in the critical moment or towards the end? I just don't know how I feel about that.
Okay, did Luke teach her how to become one with the Force?
It's so hard.
Yeah,
no,
that's what
but
I'm
they
saying,
could explain that away.
I don't know if there was
they
like any
wanted to.
canonical readings where Leia learned how to become one with the Force at all. So this is a tough one.
Well, they can guide her in the afterlife.
They-
I mean, Qui-Gon figured it out on his own in the afterlife, so.
Yeah, this is a real tough one.
To quote Ryan Johnson,
Exactly.
It's Leia fucking Skywalker.
And they could also
Sorry
use
for my
like
French.
Hey, I like that.
But I think it's so hard because prior to the official trailer in October, I thought she was definitely gonna live. But after watching that trailer and you hear Leia saying
Oh
like,
God, I
"The
can't have
Force
that
will
be
be
the
with
last
you
scene between them.
always," I'm like, "Ooh, dang!" It just really shot up. It just really shot up the prediction of her dying and her coming to the Force. And again, it could help with Ben Dempsey too in a way. So yeah, do I want her to be a Force ghost? No. Do I think she will
I think
be?
it's gonna happen.
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, all right.
Okay, so because we got Han passing in 7, we got Luke passing in 8. Now we're gonna have Leia
No.
passing
Nope,
in
stop.
9.
No,
Tears, depression.
break the cycle. break the cycle. Don't make it a trope because then everybody's expecting it. Like I don't think Lando's gonna die. I don't think
Lando
Lando's
isn't
gonna
dying.
Lando's
no way.
the end of the soundtrack.
Nope. Don't talk about the soundtrack. Don't even invite people. All right. All right. Next question is: will we see any of these planets? Tatooine, Naboo, Coruscant, or Mustafar? I say yes due to memory files.
Coruscant for sure.
Yes.
Coruscant, high maybe.
Naboo,
Mustafar, I think
Naboo
yes.
a possibility. Naboo's a possibility because
Mustafar,
of,
yes.
Palpatine.
Wait. Why are you guys so confident about Coruscant and Mustafar?
Coruscant,
How?
I just
Why?
think there's going to be
Palpatine
some
stuff.
context to Palpatine's return.
He
is
the
Oh, okay.
Mustafar,
I don't think
I
we're getting
think we
Tatooine.
may briefly see in like a flash fight or whatever.
Yeah, the flash fight because we got that concept art with.
I totally forgot about those. Damn.
I know, it's like
Flash
I
fight, what?
stare at that art book cover every day and I'm like, are we really getting something like this? Crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. See, I forgot about that.
This movie is gonna be insane.
Oh,
I think Tatooine 1000% yes.
really?
Twin
I
sun
do not.
shot
1000
with Ben and Rey. Oh, I could do it. It might be on the
I've
nose.
had this prediction since like The Last Jedi in terms of like my Ben Dempsey prediction. I always thought like let's go to where it all began, ending the cycle but continuing it as well. It has to be in Tatooine. I think JJ's the kind of nostalgic guy who really wants to do that too. So Tatooine, yes. Naboo, no.
I don't think we're going to see Naboo as
Mustafar,
much.
maybe. Coruscant, I think no for Coruscant. I'm just gonna say no for Coruscant. I don't see it
Wow.
happening.
Dang, that's a lot of mixed bag of answers.
I think maybe
Yeah.
I could see Rey having like a vision in the Jedi Temple or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I would love that, but it would be surprising.
Okay. The next question is: will Dark Rey have any lines? I think yes, because of Daisy's interview about playing Dark Rey. She went into like taking on that persona and stuff, and I feel like you in doing that would have like at least one line. So I say yeah.
I still contend it's going to be some like Palpatine meddling alternate future thing. Be like, hey,
Sure.
this is what you could be, and I think she is going to have lines.
I think yes,
sure.
because if you're gonna introduce a character like that, you can't just introduce her without any dialogue. You're gonna have to have dialogue for a character such as a dark side version of our main hero.
You can if it's a Vision.
I would love a reverse Vision, calling back to the Force Awakens.
They toss Palpatine into a dig.
No,
see the light side.
Come back!
You can fix this. Save the galaxy. Save the rebellion. Save the dream.
Saw Gerrera just pops out of nowhere. Borg on it.
Oh no!
You will run no longer.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I do think Dark Ray is gonna have lines. I do think she could be a Vision, but it'll be like a deeper Vision. Even though the concept of Dark Ray fighting Kylo Ren is too good to pass up, but I think it's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, I think she's gonna have lines.
Alrighty. Alright, who will end up with the Millennium Falcon? Rey, Chewie, Poe, Lando, or another choice of yours? I personally said Lando.
Lando, give it back to him. He did say, he says, I'm gonna get my ship back over my dead body. Hey, he's dead.
He doesn't.
Get the ship back.
He doesn't.
That's way too soon.
He doesn't.
That's way too soon.
He doesn't say that to Lando. He says that to Greedo. All right.
I'm just worried because I look at like the longest lasting things in the saga. I look at R2, I look at 3PO, and I look at the Falcon, things like that.
Don't you dare,
And
Carson.
I'm like,
don't you dare.
Something's
It's
gotta
just getting
go.
destroyed.
Something's
The Falcon.
Something's
Hey,
And it
I'll join you
hurts.
in.
It hurts,
I'll
but
join you.
it's something. I don't know if it's
Carson,
gonna be the
you
Falcon.
madman.
I'll
3PO
join you on
maybe.
that. I would not mind seeing. I've stated so many times, like if they found a noble way to sacrifice the Falcon for the betterment of winning this war in a powerful emotional way, I
here
wouldn't
for
mind
it.
seeing the Falcon go.
What am I hearing right now? There's no way
You're
the
hearing
Falcon is
stakes.
gonna get blown up.
Man, they've blown up the
Falcon's
Enterprise in
final flight.
Star Trek like 20 times, and it's always great.
That's Star Trek.
Yeah, and it's
They can go to a
JJ. What do you
different
want?
timeline.
And it's
Hey.
JJ.
Guys,
That's true.
will we see R2-D2 in the astromech cockpit of an X-Wing again?
Yes.
100%.
Maybe. I don't know. BB-8's here.
Dude, no, I need to see R2-D2 flying with Poe. That'd be
With
amazing.
Greg Grumberg. Let's go.
Greg
boys.
Grumberg, let's go.
I'd be
Matt
down.
Flexley with R2-D2. Let's go.
Bold of you to assume he's not going to have his rocket boosters fixed and in the battle.
Hey, we got horses on Star Destroyers. So you're right. Anything's possible.
Yep.
BB-8's gonna be in the middle of like running with all the space horses on the Star Destroyer, and you're gonna have R2-D2 with Poe Dameron.
It's time to race.
I watched that shot and I'm like, what is this man gonna do? He's just rolling up. Where is he going?
Freaking!
funny.
Oh my god, that freaking Obes Kenobes tweet that I saw the other day, or it's like BB-8 rolls up to Palpatine. He's like, "Hey, big meanie, what? Like, it's time to race." And Palpatine's just like, "I been waiting for this." Puts on skates. Like,
I accept this challenge.
I was like, we'd love to see it. Oh my god, it's fun. But yeah, what do you think? Who gets the Falcon, Evan?
Oh, I forgot to answer that, I guess. Low key, I would love for Ben to own the Falcon, but I think that's like highly unlikely. I'd like for Rey to do it. I think, especially with the arc she had in The Force Awakens, and she was the one driving it in The Last Jedi. I think it'll be Rey. I do not want it to be Poe. I don't think Poe will own the Falcon.
Right.
It would just be off if that happened. So I think the only viable options are Rey and Lando.
Are the dice still on Octo?
Even though Lando's,
Sorry.
Yeah,
I think they are. They have to be, right?
Yeah.
they are.
So maybe Rey goes back to R2 just to get the dice.
I don't know. I could just
Hey,
see
go
Ben,
back to
like a scene with Ben
back
putting
to
it back
Octo.
on. I don't know.
Go back.
Oh man, that would be beautiful. I mean, and I think we definitely have to get a scene with Ben on the Falcon.
Oh,
because we missed that deleted scene in The
1000%.
Force Awakens.
The deleted scene,
Please.
delicious. First of all, I love that scene.
Yes.
It's scrumptious.
It's scrumptious.
Yeah.
Good food.
Oh my god.
It's one of the best deleted scenes in all of Star Wars for me.
What deleted?
Hey.
Of Kylo Ren entering the Falcon and like reminiscing on Han for a second. Yeah.
Hey, if you get Ben on the Falcon back to Octo's got a binary sunset as well. So,
Ooh.
Yap everything.
Oh
Ooh,
man,
neither.
Nathan, you can meet chills right now. Okay.
hey, there you go.
Standing in front of that the symbol in the cave. There we go.
Yeah.
Peering through the window.
Balance.
Balance.
Okay. How many Force ghosts will appear? Must be exactly correct. They specified. So is it 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 plus? If I was going off of my count of how many I hope to see, I said 4, and I said it would be like 100%. I think we're gonna get Luke and Yoda, but I'm hoping for Anakin and Obi-Wan maybe.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
Hear me out.
Obi-Wan. Give me
Qui-Gon.
Obi-Wan back.
Yeah, I would love to see it. If they got Qui-Gon and made it 5,
Okay.
I'd be down.
I mean, to be fair, they also set up the Force vision of Rey's Force vision in Force Awakens. Ewan McGregor did say he recorded lines for that.
Yeah.
Doesn't count though.
Exactly.
It's got to be a blue haze around a figure.
I get that, but I'm saying they set that up with the Force vision. He might be in 9, like physical presence.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
I'm
what's your number of Force ghosts?
I'm gonna say 5 plus, just on the safe side, because Sam Jackson has been joking around. that
No
he's
way.
coming Back.
He's not
No
in
Don't
it.
even
way.
say
I would
that.
be so taken out of
Next.
the movie.
What do you guys
Next.
wanna do?
Yeah.
I remember that interview during The Force Awakens, and he criticized those kids need to go to lightsaber school, and I'm just like, you are over choreographed, sir. Yeah, and here fighting Palpatine with his CG head stunt double. I just saw it.
I think we'll
Fangs
get
came
Anakin,
out.
Obi-Wan.
I know.
I think we'll get Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Luke, Leia. That's 5 right there.
We're gonna get Darth Maul. He will avenge us. This is his last
Darth
words.
Maul, Tyrannus.
Stop.
It's just it's just the upper half of his body. The legs are just nowhere.
He's got just like a ghost tail. It's just floating.
We're gonna get Kanan. We're gonna get Ezra.
Mother Talzin's just the tail.
Mother
Go
Talzin
for
is
it.
in the film. They're going to Dathomir. It's confirmed.
Oh, I'm here for
That's-
it. I'm so here for it. Give me Night Sisters.
Yo, if that red planet that Kylo's on is Dathomir, that would blow my mind.
It's not.
I think
It's
JJ
not.
has no clue what Dathomir is.
Probably.
Kathy's
fine.
like, call up Dave. Get him over here. Get him on set.
Direct this reshoot real quick.
Dave, we need a compass again. You remember that? Luke's compass?
Yeah.
I totally remember that.
They're like, we'll get it to you in 24 hours. Amazon Prime
for
it.
5 minutes.
Snoke's ring is from
Oh,
Vader's
God.
castle.
Will Snoke have a black saber?
Oh boy.
But I'm with Brandon. I think it's gonna be 5 plus, just to be on the safe side. I'm just so nervous about this whole Force Ghost reunion thing. It can get really
I
cheesy
am
really
really
quickly.
nervous too.
But I have my trust in JJ per usual. So, but yeah, 5 plus, because I think we're gonna get Anakin, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Yoda, Luke. That's already 5 right there. And Qui-Gon's I don't know. That's iffy too. Because I don't know what Liam Neeson's up to these days. But
Cold Pursuit.
Cold Pursuit getting canceled.
I think he.
I totally forgot.
I think he came back. I think
back.
that blew over. I don't know. Oh.
Shit, with Liam Neeson.
I was gonna make a Taken joke, but no, it's not
Yeah, let's
appropriate.
move on.
Let's move
I totally
on.
forgot about it. I totally forgot about it.
All right.
I was mugged.
Okay. I'm gonna mute your audio. Don't say nothing.
Mugged.
I'm gonna
Oh
mute.
my God.
Bro, I'm gonna mute your audio.
I'm like
Nope.
crying right now. Oh my
Alright,
God.
continue. Next question.
Oh no.
Oh man, please save us, Nathan.
Please save it.
I'll try. Oh man, my
This is the most fun
webcam's
we've
starting
had
to
with this
bug.
podcast.
Okay. All right. Who will have the first line of the film? It's anybody's answer. I personally said it's just going to be somebody from the Resistance, just like a soldier or something.
Well, they
What are the options?
There's no options. It's
Just fill in the
blank.
blank.
JJ confirmed that
Okay.
the first word of the film was "at,"
Which is
so
why I think it's a
totally going to be
soldier or
General
something.
Veers saying "at, come back."
Veers.
Oh my
I
god.
could
Veers
see it
died,
being
sir.
Hux, and it would be his only scene of the movie. Boom, solved.
He's gonna
Wow.
die. Act 1.
Ouch.
He's gonna die giving an
Poor
announcement.
Donald Gleason.
Oh.
Hux is like that school principal that nobody likes.
Oh. I like him.
I miss Dono in the press tour. He hasn't been
I
anywhere.
do too. I hope we
Where's he-
get
what's
some
he
at least
doing?
one scene of Kylo and Hux Banner in this movie. I need it.
We have to, right?
Gosh.
Oh, that reminds me. There was a quote from Daisy Ridley, where she talked about how there's some humorous scenes with Kylo Ren, which we got in The Force Awakens, and we kind of got in The Last Jedi, of course, too. So it happens in every movie.
More.
I think there's going to be some humorous scenes with like General Pride or Hux or
Something,
maybe the Knights
yeah,
of
I
Ren.
don't know.
That'd be
Pride is
cool.
putting Hux in his place.
Yeah, because he always has like that. Yeah, exactly. He always has a dark humor, so you never know.
I want to see. I want to see Hux as a bumbling fool trying to also be redeemed onto the Resistance side.
I need Kylo to call him a rabbit cur or whatever Snoke said.
Awesome.
But I think for some reason in my head, I think the movie's gonna start off like with the dark side in terms of like the First Order or maybe Sidious. So in that sense, I think the first words might come out from I'll just say Sidious. I
Oh.
won't be surprised.
When's the last
I'll go with a
time?
long shot here.
But how often does a film start off with a main character speaking?
That's a very good point. It could be some
Force Awakens
no-name
started
First
off like
Order
that.
general.
What?
Did it?
Yeah, I mean,
Which
other
one?
than the First Order transports, the first
that was
word
Lor San
Lor
Tekka.
San Tekka with Poe Dameron.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then you-
Yeah, but he
And then
he dies 5 minutes later.
And then
Like,
also Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones,
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Attack of the Clones. No, not Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace was like the
Wasn't Attack of the Clones like a pilot or something?
No,
Who spoke first?
Attack of the Clones was the bodyguards.
They were talking to
the bodyguards of
Padme's
Padme.
bodyguard, Padme's double.
Exactly, which are nobodies, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, but yeah,
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. The very first line spoken, unless if you want to count like verbal, was
Yeah, it's
Christensen's
Anakin.
Anakin, but in all
It's
real
R2.
seriousness, it was R2D2.
Yeah, but
Okay,
then
I'm changing my answer. I think I'm gonna say Ray. I'm gonna say Ray. For first.
The first line
lines.
spoken in A New Hope was C-3PO.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Leia at a Resistance makeshift base. That's what I'm gonna say.
Ooh, good call. Good call.
okay. All right. Who will say I have a bad feeling about this? It's anybody's answer. Fill in the blank.
Dio,
I said Dio. I said Lando.
Claude.
Oh yes.
Claude. Please, I'm down. Claude on the Falcon. I'm ready.
Can he fit? We had a whole discussion about this.
Oh, he'll fit. It works.
Can you imagine they put him on like one of those hover carts that Finn was on in The Last Jedi and they just roll him up?
That'd be hilarious.
I think they're gonna get ready to take off, and he just like they gotta get out of there real fast, but he like sneaks on the ship and he just peers in the cockpit. Like, what is that?
He's just strapped to the top.
Like Obi-Wan snuck on the Padme's ship in Revenge of the Sith. He just like
Exactly. Like he just peers out, and like they already took off, and he just pops his head. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
he has him at like blaster point. All right, now put him.
So, anyways, I started blasting. It's Claude.
Oh,
So anyways, it's
dude,
time
I'm
to
so
blast.
ready for Claude. I'm so ready. I really hope that scene happens now that I just made. But yeah, who do you guys think is gonna say it?
I think C-3PO has
Okay.
to be basic.
Basic.
Yeah, or it will be something hidden, and Screen Rant will make an article about it, and then we'll be like, "Your stupid Screen Rant," and then we'll go on.
10
Wow,
things you
calling
missed in
out
Star Wars:
Screen
The Rise
Rant.
of Skywalker.
I'm sorry. I remember when they're like, "Did you know BB-8 says I had a bad feeling about this?" Screenwriter director Ryan Johnson confirms. Sorry.
He did say it.
He did. I think it's funny.
Buddy.
Like, I was like, I never go to Screen Rant for like articles or anything because it's like it gets real clickbaity. But then they wrote an article about my trailer, so I was like, well, all right.
You're like, Screen Rant redeemed.
Okay. But I say Lando for that. The final question we got here, also fill in the blank, is who will have the last line of the film? I say Luke Skywalker.
This is tough.
It's definitely Rey.
Could you imagine?
Is it tough?
If
It
the
has
end
to
of the
be
film
Rey, I
wraps
think.
up with the end of the second trailer, Leia saying "always."
Oh,
It won't. No way.
Ooh,
I do think it's a Skywalker that concludes the Skywalker saga. I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be a Skywalker that says the final line in the Skywalker saga.
I think it's Rey. She's the main character in this
Yeah.
trilogy. So I'm going with Rey, and I'm standing by it because I'm right.
And now I'm thinking, Now I'm thinking like, who says the final line of each film?
Who had the final line in Return of the Jedi? It was either Leia or Han.
Lando's hands clapping.
Gotta
Vader
love it.
roasting.
No, but I think it was either Leia or Han. It's Leia. She's like, "He's my brother," and that's it. No more dialogue the rest of the movie. No,
They're
it's the
they're
gunshot.
cheering.
We saw free.
Okay, special edition.
It's either gonna be Rey. I think it has to be Rey. I think I'm with Evan on this one, or it's going to be. Gosh, I don't know. Is there any instances of like voiceover in Star Wars? Really?
Not overly. I think if 3PO makes it, it could be him.
I think it's got to be Rey. I scratch everything. It's got to be Rey.
It's Claude.
It's
Claude says, he's just like, complete. I don't know
what does
his
a Claude
alien
sound like?
voice- What does Claude sound like?
What is it?
I don't
Like,
know.
what is like a Pokemon? Claude.
Oh god, he just makes like deep gruntled voices.
I just literally imagine Ryan Reynolds talking to a Claude, and I just can't get that image out of my head.
I'm just imagining a slow speaking stoner voice. It's like
Claude.
The film ends
Claude.
with Claude putting a dark cloak over. At last, at last, I will reveal myself to the Jedi.
Man, Jar Jar got the final word in. That's
Jar Jar.
amazing.
Jar Jar.
Back.
Oh, gosh.
I do think it'll be Luke Skywalker.
Broom Kid's coming back. Let's go.
Yeah. I got too excited. I love Broom Kid. That's pretty good. Evan, who did you say?
I said Rey. I
Okay.
think Rey has to be the one.
Evan's like, come on, guys, Rey. And we're like, but what if Claude comes in?
Yeah. I was like, I'll let you guys do your thing.
Jar
It's
Jar is the
definitely
key to all this. That's all the questions.
We're actually making good
Look at
time.
that.
I'm proud of us. Look at us.
We did it. Look at us. Look at us. Hey, who would have thought?
Thank
Not
you,
me.
Lacey, Jane, and John. Lacey, James, and John. I'm sorry. Thank you, Lacey,
There we
James,
go.
and John, for this
Segment.
wonderful Q&A you guys put together.
Hey, if you guys want to enter this for yourselves, you can't. It's over. But go subscribe to them.
Oh my god.
They're
Hang him on a hook. Wow.
Whoops.
Got him.
If you guys want to enter, you can't. You suck.
I should have just named like all the prizes, and it's like, here's how to enter. You can't. Got him.
You can. It's way too late.
A signed
all that
copy
stuff?
of Claude.
Of Claude. It's the full puppet of Claude. Oh, I'd take it. I'm so excited for Claude. Now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's enough. we don't got too much
That was
more.
a fun segment.
We don't got too much more topics. We're gonna do one final touch on Fallen Order, on Evan's perspective, because he officially.
We got canonical readings.
I know. Hold on. I'm talking about Fallen Order though, because
Brandon's so excited about these readings.
I am too.
Patience.
I did my homework. I'm ready.
All right, Carson, what do you think of
you.
Carson? What did you think of Fallen Order? Let's go.
So like honestly, you like the mechanics, like you gotta get used to like the jumping, and it's just a really shocking story, man. Like you just get to the end and like Kanan just shows up and like it's crazy.
Oh, so you have played
Spoiler
it.
alert.
So you have played it.
Wait, does Kanan show up?
kidding.
By predicting the future?
I'm kidding. No, he doesn't show up.
No, but Caleb Doom.
Oh.
Nah,
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, Evan, what did you think of Fallen Order now that you've completed it?
I had a blast. Just for a little behind the scenes thing, I was talking to Brandon and Nathan as I was finishing up the game because it took me such a long time. Thanks, Brandon, for the for the precise countdown there. But yeah, it took me like 2 hours and plus to defeat the final boss. Not gonna say who it was, but yeah, I really loved the ending. The ending was very good. It was very intense, and by the end of it, I really had a good retrospective on the story. Now, it didn't hook me from the very beginning. It took me a while to get invested in these characters, but by the end of the story, I really grew to love the family that developed between Cal, Seer, and the pilot. I forget his name right now.
Grease.
Grease, yeah,
Grease.
exactly.
How
He was a
dare
great,
you
funny
say-
character. He was a great
Does that have to do
comedic
with the
relief.
walnut head?
I guess. I guess you could call that a walnut.
I was really shocked that the final boss was Claude. I mean,
No, stop.
Claude, the Claude hype will never end. But yeah.
I'm gonna get a Claude T-shirt.
the story in general it had a lot of similarities to The Last Jedi too, which I loved. I mean, it kind of has to, right? Because this is set, of course, during Order 66, post Order 66. So Cal and some of the characters are dealing with that failure of the Jedi and have to rise above that failure to move on in terms of their character arcs and in terms of the journey in general. And I think a lot of those themes were sold very well in the story. I really got into it. I mean, there was a lot of great characters too. I loved the second sister. I didn't love Cal, but I loved the second sister, and I loved Seer, and I loved a certain character you meet in one of the worlds. Kind of very vague, but I don't want to get specifics because of spoilers. But in general, I think I mainly love the combat and the gameplay way more than the story itself. The story wasn't mind-blowing in ways, but I did love the lore that they put into it. But yeah, the gameplay in general. This is one of the first games where the lightsaber action was very real, was very tense, and same thing with the
Mechanics.
Force. The mechanics, like Carson said, the mechanics are really awesome.
They are.
Yeah, they are really cool, and I think it can only get better with more sequels or more spin-offs. So I'm very excited about that too.
Yes.
In terms of post-game, I'm just trying to get the trophies right now. I really hope they do a New Game Plus because I want to try an even harder difficulty to challenge myself. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But in general, I really liked the game. It's one of my favorite games of the year. And this was a great step up for EA, even though it was mostly Respawn that did this.
Yeah.
If they keep churning out, because like we talked about in the last episode, the sales are very good for this game. So I really hope they churn out more story-driven games like this. This could become easily a franchise, like every 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it was a very enjoyable experience, and I can't wait to play some more of it. I loved it.
Awesome, man. With that said, Carson, please get the game. I know the situation, but this has been fun. We're gonna wrap things up with the Sacred Jedi text. Folks here on the podcast, what have you been reading?
I have been so I wrapped up Lords of the Sith last week, and I absolutely loved the ending of that book. I loved the banter between Vader and that Twi'lek Ishval, I think that's her name. The way that wrapped up is fantastic. And I'm currently now I'm reading the book Tarkin, and for some reason, both of those books really add a ton more story to Palpatine. I love getting more backstory between Palpatine and Tarkin and how they knew each other before even the Phantom Menace.
The hierarchy of the Empire is so interesting. Like,
yeah,
diving
literally.
into that.
But Tarkin's a very good book. It's crazy that a group of terrorists sabotaged Tarkin with like holo maps, like holo display. So they're posing as Tarkin, giving orders. So like Tarkin and Vader landed on a planet, and they were about to head back to their ship, but they're like, "Wait, where's our ship?" They're like, "Oh, you told us to jettison the hyperspace, sir." He's like, "No, the frick I didn't." But literally, like they're able to like pose as Tarkin. I love it. It's great. It's a great book.
Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty
Tarkin's one that I haven't got to, but I've heard that I should get to it eventually. And
Dude,
definitely after hearing that kind of stuff, I want to get to it.
Yeah, it adds so much story to Tarkin.
Yeah, I loved that book. I can't remember specifics because I think Tarkin was the very first canon book I read in the new Disney era. I think so because it came out like 2015, I think. It was one of those books where it wasn't like it wasn't Journey to the Force Awakens, but it was definitely one of the very first books that I read, and it was by James Luceno. Ooh, wait, no, I think I read Tarkin before Aftermath. I think Aftermath came later.
Okay.
Great, but yeah, I like Tarkin a lot. I think the character of Tarkin is very fascinating, and I love that relationship between him and Vader throughout the entire book. It's very well done, and the main story they're going after is very intriguing too. It really takes it's a good job of delving into Tarkin's mindset. It's very similar to what happens in the Thrawn book, but I think Tarkin handles the cat and mouse game very well, way more so than the way they write Thrawn. Because Thrawn and Tarkin are both highly intelligent characters, and they both have a relationship with Vader. But I think the direction and the writing in Tarkin is way better than Thrawn. And yeah, there's a lot of great lore too concerning like the Force too, surprisingly in Tarkin. So yeah, it's a great book.
Cool. Carson, have you read New Dawn?
Oh yes, I have been reading, as I've mentioned before, A New Dawn, listening to the audiobook, and I'm about, I guess, probably halfway done with the book so far. I'm really loving it, actually. I wasn't sure how they were going to frame Kanan, just knowing where he ends up in Rebels. And I actually kind of discovered this chapter this week where I really wanted to talk about it on the podcast because we talk about this idea of the Force being this all-encompassing thing where, it flows everywhere, not just through the Jedi, and everyone has a different relationship with it. And the way this book is set is, after Order 66, Kanan is kind of just begrudgingly going through and suppressing his Jedi days because he is really betrayed by the Force. And so there's this passage that I'm going to read to you guys where it's like him kind of dealing with that, and it's super interesting starting point for the character to just for how he grows from this and passes down stuff to Ezra. It's just amazing that this was kind of where he ended up in the beginning. And the passage is from about 20% into the book. I can't remember what chapter this is, but quote, he's talking about the Force here. "It's not your friend," he told himself. It was the one reason he refused to use it, even to make his life a little easier. He'd also refused to take up his lightsaber. He still had it. Besides the finicky Force, it was the last tide of the past. But what good were lightsabers? What good was the Force? If it allowed the most devoted followers to be cut down by rank betrayal. And then just one more quote that I wanted to read was, "The problem was that the Force couldn't be turned off like a switch. Many of the benefits it conveyed were subtle. They enhanced traits without his conscious effort. No act of will could make it stop. No lapse of belief could make it fully vanish." And so this is just, I don't know, it just got me thinking about how we think about the Force in general, and just all these characters, and how, you know, talking about Order 66 and stuff. I'm not sure if this comes up at all with betrayal and kind of questioning everything that's happening. It's just, I don't know. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts because I think this is a super interesting thing, and I think we don't think about the Force as something that you would want to turn off if you're even so tapped into it. You talk about like using it in a better way, but you never talk about wanting to get away from it. So I wanted to get you guys' take on this kind of Kanan.
Ooh, well.
See, I loved that you brought that up because I think definitely in the new canon, especially in The Last Jedi, when Luke stopped using the Force too, people were shocked. But ever since then, I mean, I guess before then, since New Dawn came out even before The Last Jedi, we've got a lot of Jedi refusing to use the Force. I think we definitely see it in some other material I won't get into, but it's a very fascinating concept there. I think it's a very real thing because kind of like removing yourself from the Force is basically removing yourself from the pain of the past. And it's something that Kanan has to get over. It's something that Luke had to get over. I think that a lot of people have to get over that hump in their life, moving on from the past, like Ryan Johnson said, accepting what happened, but also rising above it. So I think it's a fascinating concept, and I think it's very needed, too, in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's just amazing that, like, something as grand as the Force can both be associated as a friend and an enemy for so many different, for both memories and, like, present use. And, like, I love that conflict here that's presented. That, you know, he's like, if the Force is, you know, this all thing that kind of just can flow through everything and kind of guide people. I think there's another quote in here. It's like it guided the Jedi into a wall, which I love that quote where it's like, so this utter lack of faith in something is very interesting.
Oh, I love it. That's so interesting just because I love anytime we can like deep dive further into like the concept of the Force. That kind of makes me wonder with like Luke, for example, shutting himself off from the Force. It's like they said, it's not an easy thing to just like turn on and off. That makes me feel like it takes like a lot of great deal to like use the Force to keep it away in a sense. And that just kind of fascinates me to like, you want to get away from using it altogether, but I feel like you have to use it to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. It's like it's always with you. I mean, it's within everything. Some more things than others, but it's just I love the Force. It's so it's so perfect. I love when it gets spiritual too, whether it goes into like kyber crystals or using it here. It's the best, man. I love it so much. Yeah,
that's basically all I had for New Dawn. It's super fascinating. I'm getting to the point where Kanan and Hera actually meet for the first time, and I don't want to like give away the context of that.
That's cool.
But it's awesome.
Yeah. Real quick, I also suggest reading the Kanan comic book because that kind of goes into.
Is it an adaptation of A New Dawn, or is it like?
Oh no, it's a totally different thing. It's called Kanan, right post what's it called, Order 66. So I think does New Dawn pick up like as he's an adult, right?
New Dawn picks up like 10 years after Order 66. He's on the planet of Gorse, I believe, which has like it's an industrial kind of mining planet.
Industrial mining planet. Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And it has like a moon called Cinda where they're mining materials, and basically I believe the bad guys are kind of the main villain so far is this dude named Count Vidian, who basically like raised up in the ranks to be like the Emperor's right hand man for like business affairs, and he's like basically half cyborg. And a cool thing about this book, he has to every night, because of his artificial intelligence invested in him, he has to like choose what memories he remembers because he has like literally limited storage in his brain because he's so much cybernetic. And so he has to like choose what to keep and what's relevant each night, and he like doesn't sleep.
Holy crap!
That's terrifying. Oh, I need a whole like film on that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's good stuff. Well, for my end of readings, I can't say that I read anything, but I did read nothing. So, so with that said, we're all out of show, which is good. We didn't go even further than our longest episode. Finally, round of applause that we didn't
Yay.
go further. God.
Very
So,
cool.
Fun stuff. I think it was a pretty good time, especially the questionnaire was so good. Hopefully, we're going to get an awesome episode with The Mandalorian for episode 6 of
Give
8.
us Gus Fring. We need him.
Yeah, man. I really hope they introduce him here. I'm excited. There's a lot of cool stuff. Rise of Skywalker will be coming out show after next, and I think just to like for full enjoyment, because I know like we tend to be like almost a week late with these episodes. We're gonna go full spoiler once the Rise of Skywalker releases in cinemas, so you should already be avoiding the internet anyways. So once you do finally see the film, come back, check us out. We're gonna be deep diving, probably a whole episode committed to it on its own. But yeah, guys, that was great. As always, you can find us on all various social medias. Carson, where can they find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at The Force Critic. I'm in full lockdown mode because probably some of you know. Apparently, the soundtrack leaked today with titles, and as you know, Qui-Gon's Noble End, throwback to the Phantom Menace. You should want to avoid those things. So, yep, it's lockdown mode till December 19th. But yeah, I'm still on Twitter, kind of active, so follow me there.
Awesome. Evan, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. And yeah, like Carson, like everybody else, those guys have been on lockdown for a while now, but I'm especially on lockdown now. I just privatized my account, and I'm starting to mute a lot of words now because everything's just starting to come out, especially because there's like a Japanese premiere, I guess, tomorrow.
And is that before the LA premiere?
Yeah. I mean, they're only showing like not the whole movie, but just like a little bit of the movie. But regardless, people are going to start seeing the movie in the coming days, so it's definitely lockdown time. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter there, and I'll just be posting about how excited I am for the Rise of Skywalker. We're in the single digits. We're getting close. I'm very
Crazy.
excited.
We're 8 days away as we record this.
That's
Wow.
terrifying. Brandon, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on at Phantasmic Ears on Twitter. Like Carson and Evan, I followed in suit. I went in lockdown as well, but I've been on lockdown for a few days, and I've had every single word muted. But with this film coming out so soon, I don't trust anybody to handle spoilers. So yeah, I've gone dark. So if you want to follow me after the film, please go ahead and go do it. Nathan?
Awesome. All right. So, as always, you can find all the further info and my social media in the description down below. Yeah, with that being said, it was a great show, everybody. Thank you guys for coming again. Hope you guys return in the future of episodes. But with that being said, hope you have a great day. May the Force be with you always.